I mean, it is hard. It is super, super difficult, and ESPN is learning and has learned over many years. The halftime show with that many commercials, if you want to get big personalities into tiny, tiny windows with 60% sponsorship, it's hard to have a good studio show. The best that's ever been, the best that's ever done it is
me juggling with Kenny G playing underneath.
the second best it's ever been in the history of studio award shows in sports that has somehow aged with grace and has such a good team of producers. They win all the awards, all the Emmys by consensus. The best show is Charles Barkley, and they've added Shaquille O'Neal, but it's been Kenny Smith and Ernie Johnson, and they're great because they're basically sitting there watching the games with you for 7 hours, and they got a lot of room to work, and everyone seems to enjoy each other's company. But they're also grandparents. And Shaq, who Amin claims Shaq is always knowing how to get that viral moment. He does things on purpose to get attention. He is at the front of a pioneer on social media. Just say things about me. I don't care why you say them. I'm Shaquille O'Neal. I'm impenetrable. I'm immune. I made it. I crashed this team, the best in sports, and Barkley welcomed me, and now I'm a part of it.
He's also the most sensitive of the crew, though.
Well, here's the thing. Amin's going to defend him because nobody's got a bigger homer in his camp than Amin for Shaquille O'Neal. But Shaq does not know Max Strus's name. He's not fooling around. He does not know Max Strus's name.
Do his thing, but if I can get Jimmy out about and Schuster give me something one game, Duncan Robinson give me something other game, somebody else come off the bench.
Well, are we talking about the same guy? You called him Strauss, you called him Schuster. So we're talking about Max, we're talking about Max Strus, right?
Strus. It starts with an S, that's all I know.
Let's just get that out of the way.
It looks like a Strauss. Hey, Max Schuster. Good luck tonight. Schuster, Strauss.
Okay, Chuckster.
That's T.R. Strus.
That's disrespectful to the sport. That's disrespectful to broadcasting. They're the best to ever do it.
Hall of Famers. They're literally in the Hall of Fame for doing it.
You would have sent us to the penalty box for that. And Shaq does it, and you're like, wow, that's Shaq. Yeah. Give it up for Shaq.
Bravo.
Give it
you
up
don't
for
get
Shaq,
fined.
everyone.
Viral moment. He knows what he's doing. You don't get fined for that.
I see myself in Shaq because of the number of names I get wrong around here, and Shaq's my age, and he does not know who Max Strus is.
It was actually Video's fault that Shaq didn't know that.
Yeah.
How is it possible that Shaquille O'Neal has been watching the last several playoffs and somebody who's starting for the Miami Heat? Well, where would you sign on this? You would agree that Shaq doesn't know Max Strus's name, right?
No, I don't agree. He's doing it to be funny. This is the part that I think is the hardest thing for people to understand is that Shaq does a lot of this stuff. Like, remember when they do the little race to the board with him and Kenny, and there's one where he like trips and then a Christmas tree falls on him. I'm like, guys, like he's not falling. Like this is him taking a dive.
You have that fall into the Christmas tree being on purpose?
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely on purpose.
Really?
Oh yeah.
When I tell you this dude would come in and sit in the video room and like discuss, all right, what are we doing today? Like as far as like what goof or what kind of silly thing we're doing. We used to have before every game in the locker room. Sometimes we do it on the floor. These different pregame kind of celebration things, but I don't know what we were celebrating. The game hadn't even started yet, but like one of them is a football, and it's like he'll take the basketball from under center, and then he'll drop back, three-step drop, and look around, and then like throw it deep, and then the other guy tackles him. Like this is what he does. He just thinks of stuff like that.
And Schuster.
That is not clever genius. No,
I
that's not falling.
I
I
didn't say it was clever
that's not
or
him
genius.
Falling into a Christmas tree for laughs. He does not know who starts for the Heat.
Dan,
hard stop.
He once walked in after getting ejected from a game and sat in the video room and went through the different insults he could call Chris Bosh that would not get him in trouble. And we were just like, nah, big fella, you can't say that. That's too offensive. No, you're going to get fined for that. And he finally landed on, and this is indicative of how different of an age and time we are, he landed on calling Chris Bosh the RuPaul of big men.
Okay, again, he knows Chris Bosh's name. He does not know Max Strus's. Jessica, where are you on this?
Are we talking about the same guy?
I see Amin's point of view, but in listening back to it, it doesn't sound like he's joking. And that's why I think everyone
Schuster.
should say JK after they make a joke.
Okay,
Just to
so
make things
He
clear.
also doesn't know the name
hold on.
Adebayo. He hasn't been able to pronounce that for
messed that
3
one.
I
That
seconds.
one's real.
I
That
also
one's
could
real.
see as someone look, I get there's only 4 teams left in the playoffs. You should probably know the starting rotations of all of them. But I also understand as someone who does sports media for a living. Sometimes you just know it starts with an S and you let it fly.
Schuster.
It happens.
So to the point of, he didn't sound like he was joking. Shaq's big thing all the time is telling ridiculous stories and waiting for someone to call him out on it. I've told the story about how he claimed he was kidnapped during training camp, and all the rookies were believing it, and he said he got away when he threatened the woman who kidnapped him with the cutlery that he got. And I said, big fella, I've been to some real expensive restaurants in my day. I've never seen one that gives you metal cutlery on your to-go. That's plastic. And then his smile just grows.
Yeah,
like,
but this is
it's
the
all,
thing.
it's all a lie.
Look,
it's all made up.
I need people to understand. Amin's judgment is bad for a lot of different reasons. And one of the places that it is bad is because he still calls him reverently big fella because he knows what an economy Shaq was to Amin. Like, big fella was Amin. Having him in Phoenix made everybody money. And so he just refers to him as big fella at every turn. And let's be honest, was a total yes man and will be until he dies. And loyalty to Shaq always is in on the joke, even if he doesn't know Max Strus' name.
You ever made $100 on getting a coffee cake from Starbucks? Whew.
I can't even imagine being that in the bag for an individual player in the NBA. It's really ridiculous what you're doing.
Starts with an S. That's all I know.
Yeah, I am embarrassed right now. In fact, go sit in the penalty box.
Oh,
go sit
no.
for 2 minutes in the penalty box, and we'll bring you back on this discussion.
Me or Jeremy?
No, you.
What?
Yes, you.
How?
Because I'm going to tell you how. He is so biased for Shaquille O'Neal that he will defend any stupidity. And he just told you he's bought. He said, have you ever gotten a $100 tip for bringing someone some coffee cake? Like, he just told you that he's a paid mercenary. He's a minister of propaganda.
I'm starting to side with Amin now.
Yeah.
I think he did it on purpose.
It was on purpose. You don't go from Strus to Schuster. That's hilarious. Come on, man.
Exactly.
Give me something one game.
He doesn't know.
Played the wrong part.
Adebayo. Yes, this is Chris Cody. Well, here. Chris
I've
Cody.
been crushing it this
Yes,
segment.
Chris?
Come on, give me
All
some
right,
slack
yes.
here.
What did you even
No.
play?
Chris Cody has got a lot on his plate.
Schuster.
All right, I need you to back
Nailed
off.
it.
I need you to back off.
Liberal over here. No.
Okay, you're getting carried away with confidence.
I asked him in the middle of the Scalabrini interview, hey, by the way, Scal said, no, very fast. And funnily, we should clip that. And instead, he just kept playing it.
No.
I was like, I don't want the Liam Neeson one.
Look,
I only have 2 hands,
I
man.
always want the Liam Neeson one.
No.
what is happening with Chris Cody that I have to point out to the audience is that he is giving off the bravado of leadership, but is also terrified. And some things are falling through the cracks.
Like Joe Mazzulla?
Because there's a lot happening around here, and it's
Some
okay.
big cracks.
Stop talking over me. He continues to try to spin a lot of plates, and the thing is, the show, he's right, because he's trying to steer the show, and it's been too much heat. And so he lobs at me over here, hey, pint of ice cream. I got a pint of ice cream over here. And then over here, and I got to listen on this one. I have to stop in my tracks and listen, because when it's a driver in Colorado trying to avoid a DUI arrest by pulling
This
a
is great.
Stugotz or a Tony and swapping seats with his dog after being pulled over.
It's a great read. I don't read a lot, but this article got me. So this guy gets pulled over.
Stop it. This is
hammered.
like the one article of the year you've read.
Yeah. So this guy gets pulled over, hammered. And he's got a dog in the passenger seat. He's like, you know what? I'm going to get into this passenger seat and put the dog in the driver's seat. And then, so before the cop even gets over, the guy makes the switch and he emerges from the door. And he just gets out like, no, I wasn't driving. And the guy walks up and there's a dog sitting in the front seat. It's ridiculous.
Is there a video with this?
I don't know.
Oh, my God. I'd love to see a dash cam of that. What's the worst excuse you've ever come up with, Chris? Because that's a bad one.
The worst excuse any walk of life?
No,
Like,
I'm
you're not
asking
talking
what
about
To get out of a
Chris,
ticket?
what Chris has come up with.
I mean, I think I've said running late for work because I got pulled over on the causeway. Like I don't get pulled over that. I haven't. There's no big whoppers that I've told.
To Americas.
You got that right.
What's your biggest whopper?
Everyone goes bathroom, right? Somebody's got to go some form
I ate a
of-
pint of Jenny's salted caramel ice cream last night, and I'm on a one-way ticket to Tummy Ache City. Please let me go. You don't want this.
Amin's friend Ethan Strauss suggested as a PR strategy on John Morant something I hadn't considered would be to aggressively lie with it was a toy gun. Prove me wrong. It was a toy gun. It's not a real gun. I was just fooling around. I was making a joke, not a real gun. Just lie, deny.
Yep. Deny and double down, I believe.
Would that work? Because you can't show people.
I thought you were going to say John Morant should say he had to poop or something. Like, I thought that's where this was going the whole time.
Paul Pierce.
I didn't see toy gun as the thing, but.
You mentioned Paul Pierce, and it makes me wonder if Chris Cody got fooled by the internet, perhaps, on this DUI dog story. Because when you mentioned Paul Pierce said Celtics in 5, and then Michael Doliak with a blue check mark, who is not actually Michael Doliak, chimed in with, "You pooped on the floor," during an NBA game.
Thanks, Elon Musk. What a golden age we live in.
Is it worth the $8 to become an imposter Michael Doliak on the internet?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
For the fun of being able to tell Paul Pierce you pooped on the floor during a basketball game. Is that worth $8?
Michael Doliak is a funny name from NBA past to use to criticize players. Because it's like, those like, wait, is that the Michael Doliak?
It really is the perfect name. It really is the perfect person from Heat and NBA lore to be like, Michael Doliak.
Come on. Come on. You guys are telling me that that's worth it? I don't understand the internet anymore. I don't. It's worth $8 to be Michael Doliak just so you could get off a joke telling Paul Pierce, hey, you pooped on the court.
You could write a book. I don't understand the internet anymore.
How much would you pay, Dan?
You guys are all telling me this is worth it. You're all nodding at me like I'm the crazy person. And you're like, no, that's fun. That seems like fun. You're an idiot, Dan. The times have passed you by. Chris Cody, I'm going to need you to get some more control over things.
I don't know where Amin
I don't
is.
know where my
He's definitely taking a poop.
I don't know where my co-host is. We have to stay on schedule. We got a lot of irresponsible people around here.
Hey.
I don't need Stugotz's seat to be quite so literally a useless
chair, man.
Stugotz seat. We've got jackhammering. I'm having clearly a 2-year panic attack on air. Because I can't control anyone or anything around here, and video has no video for us and isn't used to public criticism.
Well, we can see you. That's a start.
Okay, but you guys aren't shaded correctly. We don't have lighting people. Jeremy and Jessica still look like corpses, and I'd like to stop having to worry about every little thing in the company as somebody jackhammers outside for 4 hours while we're trying to work.
There's very fluorescent lighting in here. It reminds me of the kind of lighting you'd see in a courthouse. Actually, which reminds me about a TV show that I've been watching recently called
You
Jury
guys
Duty.
will not shut up about this show.
Oh,
now,
it's the
you've convinced me. It's on my list now, but just Jury Duty, I mean, everybody's talking about it.
Saw a couple episodes the other night. It was all right.
Classic Tony.
Thanks for your input. I mean,
I can't say too much because this is a very delicate show, right?
You
know what?
It's
No.
built around
Spoilers.
reality, but not really.
they tell you the
No. This isn't a spoiler.
They tell you the premise on a title card in the first second of the first
in the
episode.
trailer. In the trailer of the
Yes.
show, it's like if you knew about the show, you knew this
There's
is the
not a
premise.
spoiler.
Amin is alleging that this is the best acting on television.
Easily. Succession, give me a break.
I agree with Amin, by the way. The premise of the show is that there is a trial happening, and everyone involved in the trial is an actor, except for one person who doesn't realize they're all actors, who is a real person living and acting out his life that thinks they're being filmed for a documentary.
Yeah.
So everything is fake. It's all scripted. He thinks it's real. One of the other jurors is James Marsden playing himself, a famous person sitting in on this jury. And so I'm watching this show, and it's
No, that's the line from
Roy would have been great to help him out that first episode.
and I'm astounded by how well all of these actors are playing their roles, because you're not obviously seeing the full day, like they're editing whatever they shoot. And the amount that it is scripted is shocking to me, because this guy's convinced that this is a real trial happening.
So the amazing thing is, there was a reality show about 15, 20 years ago called the Joe Schmo Show, which was the same kind of premise. Hey, we're going to have a reality show, and the winner of the reality show wins $100,000, but everyone on the show is an actor. The only person who isn't an actor is this one guy who thinks it's real. And there were a lot of great comedians who actually got a big break off of that. Kristen Wiig was on that show, Natasha Leggero. And so the whole thing is creating this fantasy world. In that show, though, they broke character all the time. Every time they would go to the production truck and they would have production meetings or whatever, they'd show them breaking character and being told what to say, what to do. In this show, they do a much better job of staying in character and having all these side stories that
they're all playing it straight.
Yeah, that doesn't
crazy.
involve the mark, right? Like, he doesn't know half the stuff he's not even witness to, but there's
You guys love the premise of the show. You're playing a prank on one person that's living an alternate reality, and you all get to laugh at him because you know who the one person is, right? You're not guessing who the one person is.
Poor guy.
The audience is told this is all a scripted series happening around one unsuspecting person.
But the genius of the show is also that even though it's a prank and you know this guy is sort of at the premise of it, it doesn't feel like Punk'd, where you're like actually pranking someone in this mean way. It's just calamity going on around him, and there's like so much heart to it, even in the midst of there being this really ridiculous comedy going on around him.
Sounds fake. Like,
You
just,
think
I
they're
haven't
all
seen
in on
it.
it?
It just seems like, is this guy really getting screwed over like this,
Well,
or is he being told like to play the act?
No, this is the central question. I watched this with my friend Priya over the weekend, and she's like,
Shout out to Priya.
"This guy's an idiot. How does he not know that this is fake?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. If you're being told that something is real by everyone around you, it might take you a while to second guess that." And I'm not going to spoil anything for like the end, but I could see myself getting wrapped up in this and be like, "This is crazy." Like, James Marsden's here. Like, what the hell's going on? All this crazy keeps happening in this trial, but like, oh, that's American justice system for you. Like, I don't know. I would never guess that it's fake.
That's exactly how he gets thrown off the scent, though, is James Marsden. By putting James Marsden as one of the jurors as himself, it's like, whoa, it's so crazy that James Marsden is here and we've gotten locked down on this jury. That's so crazy that it throws you off from the idea that there could be anybody else that would also be an actor. How could you ever think that this is happening to you? They found him off Craigslist.
If I'm sitting in the jury dais and I see the lawyer who does all that stuff, I'm like, all right, there's something up with this guy. This guy can't be a real lawyer. This is not happening
but
here.
Here's the thing, Tony. He's an actual lawyer. Like, the two lawyers and the person who plays the judge, they're all actual real lawyers who also are actors, right? So they're able to pull this off. Also, the other thing is they shot it at the courthouse. Like, that's the other part that I think would throw people off the scent. It's like, well, they wouldn't allow this in a courthouse, right? So it's all of these things that are based and rooted in some reality that add to the kind of the ruse.
What is shocking to me is that there's like a ton of extras that are on the show, and like characters with speaking roles that become the main jury. And this guy, this is in LA, the guy, like, they cast people that you won't recognize from other shows.
Right.
But as I was watching the show the other night, one of the extras was in an episode of Dave that I watched right after. And I was
no
like,
way.
oh my God, I would have cracked the
Which
case.
one?
The super old lady in Mississippi and the dog.
Can you guys help me with
Yeah,
Dave?
it's
I
gross.
loved the first couple of seasons. Loved them. And I'm having trouble with this third season of Dave.
Why? Because he's so annoying.
It's a metaphor, right? Because now he's successful in the show, but now also the show is successful in real life. And you liked it when you didn't know who he was and you didn't know what the show was. But now because he's successful in the show and because the show is successful in real life, you're like, I'm over it.
But hasn't this also happened to Ted Lasso?
No, Ted Lasso, I think, is a little bit different. I think Dave, like, the central conflict in the show is that Dave is always getting in his own way and that he, like, is self-sabotaging. And I do think, like, after 2 or 2.5 seasons, I'm like, all right, when is this gonna and like do something? Like, what is this problem? Like, it's exhausting. But I don't know. I still like the show because I like the rest of the cast. Like, I love the Gator character. I really like the rest of the show. But he is an annoying character, and he's difficult to watch him continue to like get in his own way all the time.
Gator, who's a blatant ripoff of Juju Gotti, by the way. Like, dude, you need to sue them.
Salute the Gators.
He's
salute
a real
everybody
person.
involved. Yeah, but yeah, like you say, it gets repetitive of him messing it up some kind of way. Like when he got too high, spoiler alert, when he got too high when his girlfriend came to town, certain things is just like, oh man, I want you to be a little cooler than this.
I want to shake him.
Right.
No, I'm Little Dicky. I'm not cool.
But that's the whole part of the show. He's
My
like,
penis
I'm a
is
rapper,
weird.
but I'm
Get
not
the
cool.
show, but when you put on a full body condom, I don't have to want to see this, bruh. Like, I'm sorry. You got on the
Condom.
draws, that's a condom. Like,
No,
it's
someone
not just because he's Dave.
Someone asked me like, "What's that show about?" And I'm like, "Well, it's about this guy. He becomes a rapper, but he has a weird penis." You know what? Just watch it. Don't worry about
Look,
it.
the first 2 seasons of that show were really clever. They were well written. It was a smart show, and I don't know that it's not necessarily a smart show in the 3rd season. I just know it hasn't captured my attention the way the first 2 seasons did. It's done that for you guys because this has also happened to Ted Lasso, has it not? Where the first season is a phenomenon and it's next to impossible to have the 3rd season have the following the first season did because it caught at a particular time and place in the syrupy universe where we all needed pandemic content and something to feel nice. And Chris Cody, did I gather that you moved away from the microphone afraid of incurring Bill Lawrence's wrath?
Zagak.
Yep.
Wow.
To have, you don't have an honest. You
I'm
can't.
still enjoying it.
Chris.
You can't have an
Be real.
honest opinion because you're
Be real.
afraid you're
I'm
palling around
enjoying it.
with a Hollywood type. You're just like your dad. You just want to be friends with Bill Lawrence.
We're trying to get him on the Greg Cody show.
I
No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I read that Bill Lawrence isn't as involved in this season as previous seasons. I don't know if that is true or not. But also, like, he's a Hollywood showrunner. I think he's an adult. He's used to people criticizing things he does, right?
You know what show is awesome, though? Shrinking on Apple
Shrinking.
Plus. Check
Yes.
that show out ASAP.
Yes.
I love that show.
It's a note off.
Who's the show?
What?
You guys are so scared of ravaging the poor, sensitive Hollywood type.
I'm not scared. I'll tell him that season 3 wasn't as good as season 1, and I'll tell Mike Sure he's a fraud.
Right, and I'll tell it because remember, he sent me a shirt in the mail with some stuff on it after the Super Bowl. So Bill Lawrence is not on my A list. He's on my list. He can kiss my ass.
Whoa.
Shrinking is a great show. You feel me?
There you go. That's how you couch it.
Juju.
Well,
Kick save and
that's the highest compliment. I'm guessing that he's got a rugged skin, and my guess is that that's the greatest compliment that he could get. I
Can
love
kiss his ass, but shrinking's good.
I love your show, even though I think you're an asshole and you can kiss my ass.
Let me tell you something right now. Hold on. That you might think that. No, it's not. I remember one time I was on the Jump and we had Maverick Carter on there, right? And they were promoting. Remember they had that game show that was like Plinko and all that stuff that LeBron was having. And so we did the whole segment. We're promoting this stuff. And I said at the end of the segment, I said, "Hey, by the way, Mav, I just want to say this. There was a show that they produced called Survivor's Remorse. It was about an NBA player who was a minimum player and then became a max player and dealing with all of this.
First season was decent.
Right. So this was right around the first season. I said, not a lot of people watch this show or even heard this show, but I love this show. And I won't lie. Going in, I thought it was going to be corny and hackneyed, and I was surprised at the level of detail and kind of real life stuff you guys put in there that is true to what a real NBA life is like that I don't think a lot of people know. And so it was supposed to be this great compliment about how great his content was.
It's like, why'd you think it was going to be shitty?
Dude, everyone gasped on set and off behind cameras, and they told me as soon as I said I thought it was going to be trash, his whole face like just, and so like at the end of my compliment, he was like, yeah, thanks. And so, yes, it sounds nice. Like, oh, yeah, you say you're on my list, but, yo, that show's great. Like, wow, I really earned one. Nope. All he heard was list, Juju.
Okay,
Well, all he heard was trust the process, and his Sixers are out of the playoffs, so he can keep doing what he's doing. And like he involved me in anything anyway. So, shoot, salute to Bill Lawrence, but kiss my ass.
Maverick Carter has not been taking the slings of reviews for 30 years on people expecting something to be. That dude made Scrubs. That dude understands. You put something out into the world.
Exactly. That dude
and
made Scrubs.
You put something out into the
What
world,
slings did he catch?
and everyone can criticize it. And I don't think that he's going to be very sensitive to any kind of criticism of his work.
You also think that a lot of people that are sensitive are insensitive, though. Look, I won't name
So you
names.
guys think I have it wrong on Bill Lawrence? You think he'd have his feelings hurt if Chris Cody said, haven't been watching season 3?
I think this show in particular, he would be, if we started just crushing Ted Lasso.
Who's crushing it? I haven't even seen it, but I don't think that most of America has either.
Kiss my ass.
You haven't seen it?
All right, guys. So the other weekend, I went to UFC 288 in Jersey, and I was flying in. No, that's not Look at Me, Louie.
That's gotta be the quickest one in history, right?
Look at Me, Louie is also I sat cage side. That's more Look at Me, Louie.
Did you?
Yeah. Incredible fight. Sitting at the cage at those kind of events are incredible. But on the way over there, we flew into Jersey, and I realized something on the flight because it was an early morning flight. I think it was like 8 a.m. He had to be there at like 6 something, so it's an early morning, and I'm on my phone listening to music or whatever, and the person to the caddy corner of me who's sitting like one over, so I have like extreme view of his screen, he pulls out this big iPad, right? So he has it on like kind of an easel, and he puts it there, and he starts watching a movie. So I'm there watching his movie, and I'm like, man, I'm locked in right now. Like, I don't know anything that they're saying. I've never even seen this movie before, but I'm trying to like get bits and pieces of context. I have no idea.
Who's in it?
Drama?
No idea.
Who's in it?
I have no idea.
You didn't
I
recognize
didn't recognize
anybody.
It was like, what is this?
Captions on or
You
no?
just said
No
you were
no caption.
But you said you were following it.
But I was locked in.
Did you recognize a single actor and try to Google it?
No, I didn't. I was just watching it.
Was it an action movie? Was it?
It was kind of like a western-y action movie, but one that I had not seen before. So I was just watching it, and it got to a point where like he kind of looked over because he felt my presence.
Feel that. Yeah.
The gaze.
He felt like me looking over at him, and then I'm like, I kind of looked up away, and I was like, oh, hopefully he didn't see me. But I was locking on his movie, and I'm bringing this to the group here. I don't think there's anything more compelling on a flight than looking at somebody else's movie and just being locked in.
Or their
because
phone.
it's so interesting.
I read people's texts on flights all the
Oh,
time.
that's weird.
It's
What?
the
Last
only.
year-
She's so right. It's
Come
the only
on.
place
Yes.
it's acceptable.
Come on.
No,
It's the only
No,
place.
I'll
not.
tell you where this happened. Where I was like, wow, I would have been better off not knowing this. Last year, I was flying home from a trip to Europe, and the person next to me was texting their sister about COVID and needing to like leave the trip early because of COVID. And then like 5 days later, I got COVID, and I was like,
no.
what? Ah! And I knew it because I was reading their text. It's like the visual equivalent of eavesdropping.
If you're reading this, it's too late.
Exactly.
It's usually not that exciting though, because I am like Jess. If I see your phone on a plane, I'm snooping.
If I see your phone anywhere, I'm snooping.
Yeah.
I'll snoop on your phone right now.
Really? I don't.
Snoop on
I
anyone.
tend to only do it on a plane. I don't know what's
I
going
can't
on
help
there,
it. I'm a reporter.
but I love it. And it's always and people always have the large text, and it's always boring stuff on a plane. It's always like taking off now. Talk to you
Love
in a
you.
couple hours.
Oh.
It's just like nothing ever
Safe
good.
flight.
I never
Hate
get the good COVID stuff like she.
The COVID one was genuinely shocking. But Tony, yes, to answer your question, like back in the day before I had like headphones or I'd like have like the Bluetooth or anything like
What
that.
year was that?
Yeah,
This is like 2010 or 2011.
You didn't
like,
have headphones in
She
2010?
just had a
I
boombox. She's
forgot my
walking around.
headphones on a 10-hour flight once, and I watched all of Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 on someone else's TV, like 3 rows ahead of me on a transatlantic flight, and I was like, this is the worst day
You
of
know
my
they
life.
sell those for like $5.
I
on
know,
the
but
flight.
I didn't have money. Like, I don't know. I
And
was
if
just-
you ask somebody
$5?
nicely, they'll give it to you for free.
Yeah,
Like,
like
hey, come on. Long flight. Give me,
I don't
come
have
on, give me a
money.
break. Give me a break.
I just don't think I wanted to bother anyone. You feel bad bothering a flight attendant when you're a kid.
Never.
You gotta bother people. That's the only way to get things done in this world. Bother people.
Squeaky wheel. Tony, you said he felt.
He felt my stare.
How do people? It happens.
It's like a sixth sense.
How does that work? Like, how do I can tell? I feel it.
Sixth
like
sense is dead people. Seventh sense.
I see dead people.
You're so right though. Like, what's going on there scientifically?
It's also
that
when
you
somebody's
feel
sleeping that you can wake up and feel somebody like there with you if you're sleeping. I also have had that happen to me too.
No, I don't have that. Y'all see.
You don't have that one?
Y'all seen me sleep
I
at
have.
the old studio right there in the living room / war room, whatever you want to call it. Knocked out, and everyone's like, "How do you sleep?" Everyone's talking about, man, because I'm tired.
We'd all be like, "Where's Amin?" Someone ask Amin, and you'd be just
Snoring.
passed out 4 feet away.
I don't. Do I snore?
Eh.
How do you guys feel about choosing usernames? I know I'm taking the steering wheel here and going in a different direction, but the other day I was signing up.
It's your day,
Where,
Chris.
where did that come from?
I was signing up for some website. It was like
Blue
I
Sky?
forget what I was like. You know, maybe it was some
23andMe?
subscription to something, but it's like just let me use my email. Why do I have to make
yeah.
a use my username should be my email and then I have a password. Let's keep this simple. I hate it when it's like
Why don't you just
Come
make
up-
it your
nope,
email?
but it,
You can't. 'cause
I
it's
know.
a special character. You can't.
It's more principle. But that's what I end up doing. So it's like this is just my email without the email. It's just like this little thing, everything would just be much simpler through email. Screw usernames. That's my take.
Now, do you like when you do have to come up with a username.
Then I gotta write it in my notepad.
But
Like,
what do
what's
you
my
do?
username for this?
But
And,
like, do you have like a go-to?
yeah, my email.
That's not your email.
Chris.
No, I mean it's like my
Cody.
first initial, last name, and some numbers. Like that's what everyone does, right? A.L. Hassan 28.
No, I don't do numbers. No numbers. That's rule number 1.
Why?
Because if I can't come up with a unique enough name, then I don't deserve to have this login. Straight up. I need to have a unique enough login.
What's your go-to?
Darth Amin.
It is now. That's now for all
You said
social
too much
media.
already. You've
No,
already said too much.
No, that's all good. No, it's not like my banking thing is Darth Amin. Like,
That would
that'd
be
be a little
amazing.
much. Yeah, nah, that'd be too much. Too much. You're doing too much. It's just like like I don't know if you guys have experienced this. Has anyone ever asked you for your autograph? Maybe at Moss or something like that.
Definitely at Moss.
It's always weird.
Do you sign your actual autograph?
I mean, I do what I do, like how I sign a bill.
No.
Like I do big C, scribble,
no,
scribble,
no.
big C, scribble, scribble.
I give them
Nice.
a
Initials.
completely
signature.
fabricated signature. Has nothing to do for 2 reasons. One, because I'm paranoid that someone's taking my signature and like writing bad checks or whatever.
Committing fraud.
But second of all, because my actual signature, they wouldn't be able to make out who the hell signature this is. So I sign a stupid one where it's very easy to read. Oh, that's Amin El Hassan. And
You know, signatures can be whatever you want them to be as long as they're the same. Like I could draw a donkey,
no, I
and
know.
that's my signature.
You should do that.
I'm just saying,
From
like
now on, any time a fan asks you to sign something, if you don't draw a donkey, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Good
in
luck
you.
voting, by the way, with that. If you're using a mail-in ballot.
Well, Democrat donkey.
Yeah.
So what's your Jess? What's your go-to for username?
I just did this when I signed up for Blue Sky, which by the way still haven't skeeted. I don't know if I'll ever skeet.
You're welcome.
Wait,
I
what?
actually did skeet once. I skeeted at Ryan Nanny because I didn't know he was on Blue Sky, and I was
What?
like, "Oh,
Hold
you're on here."
What is happening here?
Oh, you
Tony,
weren't
you
here
were
for
on
Blue
vacation.
Sky.
You missed it.
So Blue Sky
Listen
is
to the
like
show and catch
Blue
up.
Sky like food by the pound?
no. Blue Sky is the Twitter.
That is gonna fly over so many people's heads.
No,
It's a place here in Miami that sells food by the pound. It's like una cafeteria that's called Blue Sky. Anyway,
Really?
Blew
Where
over
is
my
it?
head.
Wait, hold on. Now I'm intrigued.
Now you're intrigued?
Where is this?
8th Street. There's probably one on Bird.
Excellent vaca frita.
Yeah, there's probably one in Hialeah for sure. There's
Excellent.
one over by
Excellent.
my parents'
Love
house
that.
on like
Well
120
done,
to
Chris.
117th. Where's more Blue Sky?
Well, I did this when I
Westchester
signed
sure.
up for Blue Sky, and I was like, I have an opportunity here to be one of the first people in on this app. I could be I could be at Jessica. That was already
Yeah.
taken.
No.
And
Yeah.
I was like, what am I going to do? I just picked the same thing as my Twitter handle, which is just my name.
But did you do underscores or a dot or anything
No,
dumb like
just
that?
my name.
One word. There
Just
you go.
one word, my name.
Underscores, the devil, because I got to find the shift key. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Follow me on Twitter at __ Chris Cody.
Yo,
Yeah,
I
that
hate
is
that.
annoying as hell.
Underscore
That's
Chris
the
Cody was
Dumbest
taken.
thing. Okay.
Tony's-
2 underscores are annoying because you can't tell if it's 1 or 2, and then you have to do it as a first character. It's ridiculous. by
Tony's
the
used to
way.
be like that. He used to have __ to start, and I
Yeah.
was like, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then he changed it to 10-day Tony, which, by the way, I stand corrected. That's the only time you can use numbers. If the number
Part of
It's
the name.
10
Yeah.
part,
day.
yeah, because it's 10-day Tony. It's not Tony Day number 10 or whatever, because like that's dumb. But when it's part of the thing,
Yeah,
then that's
that
fine.
would be so dumb.
So you guys are signing up for a food by the pound place, and what's happening? I don't get
No,
it.
Blue Sky is the
We're skeeting on it.
Twitter.
Why is that the verb?
It's it's a Twitter replacement, right? It's the guy who co-founded Twitter. has
Jack?
Jack. Now he made this new place called Blue Sky, and it looks a lot like Twitter. It operates a lot like Twitter, but obviously it's not.
I'm gonna
tweets.
look this up. Let me see. Here.
So
Hold on.
it's Blue Sky, so we called it Skeets.
Oh, that's just us calling it that.
No,
Oh.
we're gonna make it take
no,
off.
okay.
it was
Oh,
on.
okay.
It was online. It was in an NBC News
Hold
story
on.
I read.
Blue
Yeah.
Sky. What did you put?
Did you
Blue
write
Sky.
it?
That's it.
What?
Did you write
I
this
didn't
story?
write. I didn't write that one. Well, Ryan Cortez is the journalist around here. Maybe he wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue Sky, yeah, and it's invite only right now, Tony. So you're gonna have to wait until the
It's
next
like
round.
Facebook back in the day.
Yeah, the Facebook, you mean?
Drop the.
Yeah, it's a lot cleaner. Gmail was invite only. No, so Blue Sky, you haven't skeeted, huh? No skeets for
No
old
skeets.
Smetana.
I just don't know what I'm supposed to do on this app. I mean, talk
Do you
about
know
it
what to
last
do on
week.
Twitter?
I mean, yes, like
Then
on
just
Twitter.
do the same thing,
But
but
what, am I
less
supposed to just
obnoxiously.
write the same thing on Twitter and then copy and paste it
No,
and skeet it?
you're supposed to stop using Twitter.
I really don't use Twitter that much anymore. I know
Me
people aren't
neither.
gonna believe that. I'm a heavy TikTok
Is this
user
it?
right now.
What's it look
It
like?
looks just like Twitter.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I really hope that that's like the fake one that they created to like scam people, and Tony signs up for it on accident.
Blue scam.
You hope that?
I don't hope that. I was thinking about this yesterday though. While I was on a government website and I was typing in like sensitive government information, and at the top of the website it was like, "This is a government website," and I was like, "But if it were a fake government website, I think you'd put that at the top of the screen."
You know what I've always wondered when it comes to scams? Why do they always have like typos and misspellings, like in those emails and stuff? Like, all right, I mean, like you're trying to fool me, I get it, but like let's have some like level of decorum here. Let's get it right.
Get your together, bots.
The one that looked like Twitter was a scam one, by the way. So thankfully I didn't sign up for it.
Invite
It
only.
was Blueski.
Blueski wooski. Yeah, man, like
Blueski.
why can't we put in the extra mile and like let's get this thing looking official?
You want scams to get more sophisticated.
Well, I mean, just like let's not be lazy. Like, there's a kid who posted an acceptance letter to Harvard, and he's like, "Oh, my hard work, whatever." And in the acceptance letter, where he's photoshopped Harvard's logo, whatever, he spells it Harvard.
No.
Yes, Harvard.
No.
I'm like,
What's wrong with that?
buddy, what are you doing?
It was hard.
No. Reminds me of the time I got into Stanford.
Here you are, Sittenford.
Hmm.
Everyone's shaking their head at the same time.
I'm trying to think of my word play.
I'm trying to get you to play the
No
sounder for
Durdane.
him, but you didn't look.
The laugh, right? Yeah. Hakeem Nicks.
Oh, hey, what?
Oh, I hit 2 at once.
Wow.
How's this going?
There we go. Yeah.
We're back.
Dan's currently having a panic attack outside.
I can't leave the room for 10 minutes without the show flying off the rails. Guess what, Dan? Let's talk about right now. All right, guys. What do you do?
Who pooped today?
Please don't. Please don't. He's so close. I can feel it. It's like when you're.
He's gonna bust in here.
I'm watching his gaze. I can't even see him, but I feel him right
Roy,
now.
that poop must have been so crazy after that ice cream.
No, I'm not incurring the wrath of Dan. You're not getting me in this.
Come
Not
on, you
today.
pooped.
He said he's not lactose intolerant.
Thank God.
Poop.
I have 69 followers on Blue Sky.
Yeah, that would have been great to let him.